The Gospel of Mark tells us many stories about Jesus. These stories are about Jesus' love and power. In chapter 5 we find a story about a father's love and a daughter in need. Her name was Jairus. Jairus was a leader in the synagogue. The synagogue was where people gathered to worship God. Jairus' daughter was very sick. She was only 12 years old. Jairus was desperate for Jesus to heal her. Jairus had heard about Jesus and the miracles he performed. He believed that Jesus had the power to heal his daughter. Jairus humbled himself and fell at Jesus' feet. He begged Jesus to come to his house and heal his little girl. Jairus' faith was strong, but so was his fear. He knew his daughter was close to death. Jesus agreed to go with Jairus. Hope filled Jairus' heart as they set off towards his home. A large crowd followed Jesus, eager to witness his miracles. They pushed and shoved, wanting to be close to him. The journey was filled with anticipation. Jairus clung to the hope that Jesus would arrive in time. As they made their way through the crowd, a sick woman approached Jesus. This woman had been suffering for 12 long years. She had spent all her money on doctors, but none of them could heal her. Yet, she had faith that just by touching Jesus' cloak, she would be healed. And she was right. Jesus felt power go out from him and he turned to ask, "Who touched me?" Section 5. Faith amidst despair. While Jesus spoke to the woman, some people arrived from Jairus' house. They brought terrible news. Jairus' daughter had died. They told Jairus that it was no use bothering Jesus anymore. Imagine Jairus' grief. His heart sank, but Jesus whispered words of comfort. Jesus told Jairus, "Do not be afraid, just believe." Jesus' words were powerful. They were words of hope and reassurance. Jesus was telling Jairus not to give up hope. Even though the situation seemed impossible, Jesus was in control. When they arrived at Jairus' house, they found it filled with mourners. They were crying and making a lot of noise. Jesus told them to be quiet. He said that the girl was not dead, but asleep. The mourners laughed at him because they knew she was dead. Jesus took Jairus, the girl's mother and father, and his disciples into the room where the girl lay. He gently took her by the hand and said, "Little girl, I say to you, get up." And the girl got up and walked around. Her parents were overjoyed. They couldn't believe their eyes. The story of Jairus' daughter is a story about the power of faith. Jairus came to Jesus in desperation, but Jesus met him with compassion. Jesus' miracle reminds us that with God, all things are possible. He is a God of hope and healing. No matter how difficult our circumstances may seem, we can always turn to Jesus for help. He is the same yesterday, today, and forever.